Happy Monday, friends. Welcome to Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe. As always, I'm happy that you're here. If you would say hello and maybe mention where you're from or something you love about Stampin' Up, that would be wonderful. And I also would like to ask you to share this live video and invite others to join us. I just want to mention real quick that I have 2 classes to go with open registration right now. The first one, Eclectic Garden, closes registration tomorrow, September 20th. All right, that's the last day to order the Eclectic Garden class to go, September 20th. And then yesterday, I released a new class to go, the Tea Boutique class to go, and it features obviously the Tea Boutique suite from the annual catalog, and it's wonderful. You use the Tea Boutique Designer Series paper and the cards and envelopes that match, and it's a wonderful bundle, a totally terrific suite. So please take a look either here on my Facebook page, Stampin' Peace with Mary Knabe, for information. I have it in the featured section of this Facebook page, or you can look for it on my blog, stampinpeace.com. Today I have something fun to show you. Many of you have heard me say already that this month we have a Perfect Partners promotion. There are 6 exclusive dies that Stampin' Up! Has released this month only, okay, available this month only, for 6 stamp sets from either the annual catalog or our July to December mini that don't have a die set with them in the catalog. So this is an exclusive offer just for those 6 stamp sets. One of those is the Apple Harvest stamp set. And today I'm showing you what I think is a really gorgeous card made with the Apple Blossoms dies, because I want to show you how wonderful and how versatile that die set is. So let me flip my camera around now so we can get started. Please share this live video again and invite others to join us today. All right, before we jump into our project, you're getting a little sneak peek of it right here. Let's talk for a moment about World Card Making Day, which is on Saturday, October 1st. For World Card Making Day, Stampin' Up! Is doing something different this year. They are offering a free online stamping card making session. So with that, all you have to do is register, okay? And I have put that in an email. I will send that out again, or you can look in my online store, Mary Knabe at stampinup.net, and click on World Card Making. And all the information will come up. There is no cost to this. It's a free event for both demonstrators and customers. Anybody, everybody, you get it. You do need to register though. And it's super easy. It takes like a minute at the most to register. They just want to know how many people are planning to participate. It is online by Zoom, and that's part of the registration process. They want you to register so that they can email you the Zoom link before the event goes live. And I do believe that this will be recorded. So if you sign up and something happens and you can't attend, I believe you'll be able to find the replay. They are offering a special too. during the live World Card Making Day presentations, they'll be using the cottage rose, cottage wreaths, and the new warm welcome bundles. If you want to purchase all three of these and craft right along with our Stampin' Up! Representatives, you can do that. You can buy all three, you can buy two, you can buy one. If you purchase at least one of these by October 1st, Stampin' Up! Is going to send you a package of iridescent pearl basic jewels, right? We love those iridescent pearls. In fact, and this is mere coincidence, I'm using them on today's project. Now, in addition to that, they tell you what other supplies will be used during the live demonstration, and they tell you cutting dimensions, both imperial if you're in the USA like I am, or if you live someplace around the world where they use the metric system. You just can cut your cardstock, and of course you can always substitute any of the products. But it's just a fun way for us to get together and celebrate World Card Making Day. I'm hoping to attend. I did register. I may have to catch the replay because our family is celebrating Andrea's birthday, which is actually September 30th, but we're celebrating on for dinner, I believe, on October 1st. So I may be catching the replay. I love all the stamp sets and bundles that they're using, so I'm excited to see what they have to offer. Okay, as I said, I'll be using the Apple Blossoms dies. This is just a smidgen, a little bit of the dies that are contained, and you'll see the rest in a moment. But these coordinate with the Apple Harvest stamp set in our annual catalog. If I use this at all today, it will be for a sentiment. Otherwise, I'm just using the dies because sometimes it's fun just to change things up, right? And it's okay, even though we're a stamp company, it's okay to make a card or something else without stamping and use our other wonderful products. Now, what I want to show you is I've got a bunch of dies here, and I went ahead and cut out one set already. And for today's card, we're actually using two sets of each of the dies here, two of each of the dies. So I'm going to, and the reason I didn't cut them all out at once, sake of time, the reason I didn't cut out the second set was because I wanted to show you how I set it up just to maximize my time, because there are a whole lot of dies and a whole lot of pieces. And don't let the amount of dies talk you out of this project, because this project is amazing and it truly is simple. The hardest part is getting all these dies on here. There are 4 flower dies. You can see they're in 2 sizes, and these are the centers for the flowers, 2 large and 2 small. And then we have a total of 9 leaves, 3 large and 6 small. We also have this branch, and I do need 2 of these. I already cut 1. So like I said, everything you see here, I've already cut 1 of. The colors I'm using are soft suede for the branch, flirty flamingo, daffodil delight, and granny apple green. So I wanted to show you, if you set up your cardstock and dies like this, you can cut all of this out in one easy step. And you will find that these cut out very well. I'm going to get some of this out of my way. We're just a moment. If any of the pieces are sticking to your cutting plate, just use the piercing tip of your take your pick tool and lift them from the cutting plate. Oops, I think I tore that one. Yep. Okay, we'll figure that out. We'll make do. Actually, I have an extra large one, so we can, from a different project, or from making the sample, I should say. These little yellow pieces are the center for the flowers. They're kind of delicate pulling them out. And then finally the leaves. And sometimes the cardstock will stick to the inside of your die. Just poke through those little holes and your die cut piece pops right out. And I think I have everything now. So now you can see I've got a gazillion pieces here, right? We're going to set these aside just for a moment because I want my card base to be ready when I'm ready to put all this on the card front. And I'm using another die from the Apple Blossoms dies, and this is the Scallop, okay? I'm going to cut my basic white card base on one end with this Scallop die. Now I am using basic white thick. That's my preference when I want white or vanilla for a card base, to use the thick. They just stand up a little nicer. And that's why I like to, or prefer to use the thicker card base, thicker cardstock. So I just going to, or did lay my die across. One thing I will tell you, if you take a look at the ends, I try to center the die so that I have the same amount of scallop or negative space on each end. Doesn't have to be perfect or exact, but close helps, rather than having like one full scallop on one end and then maybe just a teeny bit on the other. I kind of like to space it out like that. And depending on the size you're cutting, it may be that you can do a true scallop on each end. But for my purposes, okay, so now you can see what happens. You could use this on a card, especially if you're doing different colors. That's a little tricky as far as adhering. So if you do want to use that piece from the die, I would suggest you put your cardstock on a piece of adhesive sheet before you die cut it. But I'm using this. Let me put that to the side. So this is now my card front. And I'm going to have that scallop at the bottom of my horizontal card. Now, to show off that scallop even more, I want to add this piece of soft seafoam cardstock. Now, there's two ways you can do this. You can add it just to the bottom inside of your card base, or what I like to do, because sometimes I get kind of wordy when I write notes, so I like to leave as much room as possible on the inside most of the time. So what I'm going to do is just take my multi-purpose glue and do some tiny dots in all of those scallops. Then I'm going to hold the soft seafoam cardstock in place so that it lines up on 3 sides with the card base. That looks pretty good. And then from there, I'm just going to fold over my card front and press down, hold for a couple of minutes. Joan, I'm glad you made it to the live. Yay! You're a busy lady. Wow, so many of you on. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. I just noticed a couple of dies in here and I want to move them out of this pile so the dies don't get lost. Keep them all together. All right, so now my card base is ready. All right, the first thing I'm going to do is add my 2 branches. And I'm using a lot of multi-purpose glue for this project, but I'm using it very sparingly. You see that? So you'll see me using this often, but I use it very sparingly, just small bits. Now I want to make this branch longer, so I'm just adding a second piece. And it doesn't really matter which way you go with it, what kind of angle you take with it. You can decide. And then the next thing I want to do is adhere the centers to all of my flowers. And I'm just going to put, again, just a tiny dot of multi-purpose glue. In the center of each of these flowers. Again, these are Flirty Flamingo. Flirty Flamingo. I have this one that I tore the, I wonder if I can fix that. I tore the, find my mat here. Tore the petal off when I was pulling it out. So let me see if I can fix that. And then we can still add the center. And chances are nobody's going to know that I did this little repair on this blossom except you and me. But I know you're not going to tell my secret, right? Okay, so now I'm ready to put the centers on all of these flowers. There are large ones and small ones. And to make this easy, I'm using the putty end of my Take Your Pick tool to pick them up. And I'm going to place them on my flower, use my finger to pull it off. Oop, that's a little one. So this putty tip isn't just for picking up embellishments. It's great for picking up small pieces of cardstock. If you die cut small letters for your scrapbooking, this is a great tool to use. Great tool to use for picking up and placing those small letters and other cardstock or paper pieces. All right, that looks pretty good. Now I don't need to do anything with the leaves. We'll use them as is. And the adhesive I'm going to use for putting the flowers on the branches or branch are mini glue dots. So for the large ones, large flowers, I'm using a whole mini glue dot right in the center. Now, these mini glue dots, or not glue dots, mini dimensionals, are actually really a little bit too big for these small flowers. So this is, I'm going to show you what I did. I cut a row of mini dimensionals right in half. So now I have mini dimensionals and I have teeny tiny dimensionals. And I'm using those teeny tiny half pieces for the small flowers. Now you could add the flowers to your card front with multi-purpose glue if you want, but I really like to have my flowers lifted off of the cardstock. And when I put the flowers on, oops, that's not going to work. When I put the flowers on with dimensionals, lifting them off the card front, that actually makes it a lot easier for me to adhere the leaves, because I like to tuck the leaves underneath the blossoms. And then here, and there's really, oops, there's where that lid is. There's no rhyme or reason to how you, what arrangement you put these flowers in, okay? But I personally like to start with the large ones and kind of space them out. So you usually have 4 large flowers and 4 small flowers. We die cut 2 branches for this project, and 2 sets of leaves actually makes 18 leaves, and believe it or not, I'm going to use them all. And I need one more dimensional. Where did I put my little? I had one sticking on my finger. Did you catch that? I didn't even see it until I went to grab this. And once I've placed all the blossoms, I can even move them around a little bit, then it's time to start adding some leaves. You can see I like to move mine around a little bit. I don't know if I want that there or maybe here. Maybe here. Okay. Now, for me, the easiest way I think to add the leaves is, and I again like to start with the larger leaves and then fill in with the small. But I take and put a mini glue dot on one end of the leaf, the end that's going to be tucked under the flower blossom. And again, there's no rhyme or reason to it. There's no special order. You have to put the leaves on. Some blossoms might be surrounded by more flowers or more leaves, some by less. Whatever you want to do. I just try to make it so it looks balanced. I don't worry about it if it is balanced in the manner that that I count. Well, how many leaves are around each blossom, and how many are on this side, and how many are on that side. Just visually, if it looks balanced to me, I'm happy. So you don't have to worry about getting it perfect. In fact, if you make more than one of these, chances are you can do the same process, but chances are they're going to look a little bit different just because of placing the flowers and the leaves. I'm going to get the rest of my large ones in. Decide where I'm putting those. Okay, just one more. Remember too, when you're doing this, you really do want to make sure that they're not going beyond the boundaries of the card itself, because they're going to get crushed then when you put it in an envelope. See how easy it is to tuck the leaves underneath because I put the tiny dimensionals behind the center of the flowers. And actually, once you've done the die cutting, it really is actually a quick card to make. It's great for any occasion: birthday, sympathy, get well, anniversaries, maybe even wedding. Could be a just because kind of card. And you do want some of those leaves and petals, or yes, leaves and petals to overlap. That's what they do in nature, right? What occasion would you use this card for? You don't have to cover up all of the branch, but just by nature of what we're doing, most of it will get covered up. Okay, I like how that turned out. What do you think? Yes, no? Okay, the other thing is that makes this so versatile is you can make any colors that you want. You can make this card with any colors that you want. These are called apple blossom dies. I know apple blossoms are typically not this deep flirty flamingo color, but hey, I love it. Barb, I agree. Nice for a birthday. I mean, a wedding. Friendship, thank you. Yes. You know, if you like blue flowers, make blue flowers. If you like orange, make orange. If you like Highland Heather, do that. Whatever it is, you can even customize the color for the person you're mailing the card to. All right. The next thing I want to do is add a sentiment. And I really like this one about friendship. I don't think it fits in this die, but I'm going to double check. I know the other one does. Hope you are feeling better. But let's see. Oh, it does. Awesome. So I'm going to, let's see, what color should I put this on? I'm thinking I want the sentiment to go right here. Kind of overlap like that a little bit. I think I will use a piece of soft seafoam. I don't need to cut it because I have the die. What am I thinking? I'm going to use the soft seafoam, and I want to see what it looks like if I stamp this in the Granny Apple Green on soft seafoam. If you like to scrapbook, this is a great technique to add to scrapbooks. You can think of this as a way to embellish your scrapbook pages, right? Use the flowers maybe to frame out a special picture, for a wedding, graduation, something like that. And For this, I am going to use just a little bit of washi tape on each end to hold that die in place. Remember, when you're using washi tape with your dies, you want the washi tape on the outside, right on the metal, and then on the outside of the die. You don't want it on the inside where your stamping is, because there is a possibility that when you pull up the washi tape, you can damage your cardstock. I'm gonna need that. Take your pick tool again. Lift this off. Oh yeah, I love it. I love it. So I'm going to use some mini dimensionals again to adhere this sentiment to the card front. And I'm going to let it overlap the blossoms rather than being disconnected. Oh, I like that. And I can even pull this up, these petals, and it'll kind of lay on top of that end. All right, and finally, I'm going to add some embellishments. I'm using the iridescent pearls. Again, this is what I mentioned when I was talking about World Card Making Day. They said if you order one of these 3 bundles, one or more of them, by October 1st, you will get the free iridescent pearls. So that's for World Card Making Day on October 1st. And you can find more information about that on my September 17th blog post at stampinpiece.com. You can also find it in my online store, maryknabe.stampinup.net. And I'm just going to put some of these pretty iridescent pearls, one in each of the scallops. That kind of dresses up those scallops a little bit. Doesn't look quite as plain. But if you would rather put your pearls around the blossoms, you can do that as well. All right, in fact, I'm going to put some over here. I feel like I went a little low. I wish I had brought this blossom out a little bit, but I'm not going to mess with it. But to kind of balance it out, I'm just going to add a few pearls right here. All right, what do you think? All right, so now you can see that why I love the Apple Blossoms die set so much. Now you know why I felt the need to get it right away, knowing I could only get it this month of September, because it's part of that Perfect Partners promotion. Stampin' Up! Has not given demonstrators any indication that those 6 sets of dies will be available at a later time. So just so you know that, they have not. I know many of you, like me, probably wish they would add them to our regular line, but we have not been told that. So definitely check out the Perfect Partners promotion in my online store. I'm trying to think, what are the others? The Yeti to the Party is part of that promotion. The Happy Birthday Piggies is part of that promotion. Trimming, I think it's called Trimming the Tree. And there's 2 others. So fun, you know me. I don't mind fussy cutting, But if I can have a die, I want the die, right? Okay. Let me know what you think about this card. Who would you send it to? What would you use it for? And if you are interested in winning this card that I made during this live demonstration, in the comments now, please type Apple Blossoms Dies. Wanted to make sure I've been saying that name correctly. Apple Blossoms Dies. All right. Apple Blossoms Dies. And everyone who does that, your name will be entered into the drawing to possibly receive this beautiful card. All right, that's all I have for you on this Monday. Oh, and I'm looking at the time, 4:35. Now, you saw I did most of the die cutting with you here. I did one set before, but even if I had done that, it would have added another, 2-3 minutes at the most. But I was able to die cut, make this entire card, put it all together, finish it off, embellish it in less than 35 minutes. Pretty cool, huh? All right. And again, really think about how else could you use this? What about making napkin rings? Maybe you're having a dinner party or having company for lunch or dinner. Or, you could just make a ring of cardstock and put a few blossoms and leaves right on the top, right? Maybe you want to decorate a bag to put a birthday gift in for somebody. This would be a great thing to do. And don't forget about using this with your scrapbook pages and collages to highlight photos, things like that. All right, everybody, I hope the rest of your Monday is wonderful. It was a pleasure sharing this Apple Blossoms card with you. And I hope you will join me Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Don't forget to check out information on my 2 classes to go. By the way, I also include classes to go on my calendar, which is on my online store as well. So there's lots of places to find that information. But if you need that specifically, let me know and I'll point you in the right direction. All right. Joan, I agree. A good get well card. I think it could be a really pretty sympathy card too. Or, people needing hope and encouragement. It's bright, it's cheerful, it's lovely. It's going to make somebody smile, right? No matter what. All right, everybody, happy Monday and happy stamping. I hope to see you Wednesday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern time. Bye-bye.